Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference building up to the Chelsea-Manchester United game on Monday, 8 o'clock kickoff. So Solskjaer has provided us with quite a lot of stuff during his press conference. He's obviously give us an update on Odion Ighalo. He's also given us the latest news regarding McTominay, Tuanzebe, Fosu-Mensah and Paul Pogba. And also he has reacted to, Fred's interview, that he did recently in Brazil. And also, there's a story as well about an alleged rape, but I will delve into that a bit later on in the video. So we will start with Odion Ighalo. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed Odion Ighalo will be involved and he will travel to London, but he has failed to say whether, Odion Ighalo will be making his debut against Chelsea. Of course, Odion Ighalo has not trained with any of his new teammates yet, because as you all know, Odion Ighalo, was not part of the warm weather training camp in Spain. The main explanation is because of the fears of the coronavirus that has been going round, so he wasn't part of the warm weather training camp. So maybe he will play some parts in the game, but maybe, he may not start, so maybe he could be benched, Odion Ighalo. The news regarding McTominay, he's been, stepping up his fitness regime as McTominay, but Solskjaer has confirmed he's not going to be involved in this game against Chelsea. This game has come too soon for him. Like I said, McTominay has done really, really well this season, of course, before he got injured, but he is now close to returning. McTominay was part of the warm weather training camp in Spain, but, I think, he didn't really join in too much. Also, the same thing with Alex Tuanzebe. He's also been stepping up his fitness regime. He was also part of the warm weather training camp in Spain. But Tuanzebe, of course, he's not ready for this game. And the same thing with Fosu-Mensah. He's also not ready for this game. So none of them, will be making the journey to London. The news regarding Paul Pogba, I've been updating you about Paul Pogba on a regular basis, haven't I? Obviously, Paul Pogba, the situation with him, he's stepping up his recovery, 1 month after his ankle surgery. Paul Pogba did reveal last month, Solskjaer did reveal last month that Pogba, should have been back sometime in February, but now that is not the case. I think, the earliest we are looking to see him back is for the Manchester derby on the 8th of March. But Paul Pogba, has been out of injury for quite a while. Obviously he's only played 8 games this season due to his injury. He hasn't started a game since September. He hasn't played since Boxing Day as Paul Pogba. But obviously, when he does come back into the team, that will be very beneficial. By the way, Paul Pogba is leaving Manchester United in the summer because, as you all know, he recently told his teammates, did Paul Pogba, that, he's going to be leaving the football club in the summer. Of course, Juventus are in for him, Real Madrid are in for him. I think he'll either go to Real Madrid or he'll make a return to Turin in the summer. Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he came out today and he told Sky Sports that, Paul Pogba's second home is Italy. And this is what, he has come out and said. I think reportedly we want in the region of around £100 million for the player. But yeah, he will be moved on in the summer. But a lot of United fans have got different perceptions on Paul Pogba. Some United fans would keep him, and some United fans, would be happy to see him go. Of course, if we could get Jack Grealish in the summer, then we can afford to let Paul Pogba go. But, we can generate a substantial amount for his departure, like I mentioned. Also, it will free up our wage bill a little bit because, Paul Pogba is on around 290 grand a week at Manchester United. But Pogba's got the same perception now as what he had at the beginning of last summer, because he did say at the beginning of last summer that, he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club. Last summer, his preference was a move to Real Madrid, but his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise because, reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him. Because I think last summer we wanted around 150 or 160 million pounds for him. Real Madrid were reluctant to pay that for the player. Pogba, of course, is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, and the vast majority of his performances have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin, because he did endure 4 good years with Juventus in that. But as long as, we can, recoup the money and gain a little bit of a profit, from what we paid for him, then that's very, very good. Obviously, we don't want to sell him for less than what we paid for him. The Daily Mail came out today and said, we'd accept £83 million, but that's £6 million less than what we paid for him from Juventus. But Paul Pogba has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, not only in January, not only last summer, back under the Jose Mourinho, there was Mourinho era, there was a lot of reports about him leaving. Also, he was linked to Barcelona. But Paul Pogba enjoyed a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. I think the mistake Manchester United did make was getting rid of Paul Pogba, when he was younger. Because taking into account we had him under Ferguson when he was younger, he progressing up the ranks in France with Lee Harvey. Then he came to United, made a couple of appearances, but his appearances were limited. And this is the main explanation why Manchester United let him go on a 3 transfer. But Paul Pogba is focusing on Man United for the time being. He's hoping Manchester United can get Champions League football secured, and he's still on at the age of 26. By the way, Paul Pogba was not part of the warm weather training camp in Spain because obviously he's been continuing his rehabilitation from his ankle injury. So that's the latest on all of the team news, and it is going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solsjaker approaches this game against Chelsea. Now we'll jump into news regarding Fred. As you all know, Fred had done an interview in Brazil not too long ago. And obviously, Fred had explained, the variety of issues at Manchester United. He was also talking about the problems and the lack of squad unity in that. So these are the stuff that Fred said. I updated you about what Fred said the other day. And, he had quite a few good opinions, did Fred. And, Solskjaer has reacted to this in his press conference. And, he's come out and said, he doesn't really understand, Fred's claims of the lack of squad unity. He's basically said, Man United just need to stick together and we don't need to worry about that. So really, he's just basically said he doesn't understand, what's Fred's really on about and that. So he's totally disregarded what Fred has basically said. Of course, Man United paid £50 million for Fred. And I've got to say, he has recently rejuvenated himself as Fred. And I credit him because I think he's done really, really well. Under the Jose Mourinho era, never really got his opportunities. But, I think, Solskjaer, to be fair, has given him his chances. And I think he's done really, really well. I mainly see the best of him when he's playing alongside McTominay, Fred, to be fair. But he deserves more time at the club. Matic, he's now going to be available to play against Chelsea. He didn't play against Wolves before the winter break because obviously, Matic was suspended, so he didn't play against Wolves. He obviously, got sent off in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg against Manchester City. And Solskjaer gave his overarching view on that, and, he wasn't obviously, happy with that sending off. Now, I'm going to jump into this alleged rape thing. I've got some reports up here about it, so I am currently, going to read it to you. It basically says here, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer refuses to comment after a woman says he is not fit to manage Manchester United because he continued to play Mould midfielder. An investigation into allegations he raped her in her sleep. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer refused to comment about playing a player at Mould during an investigation into allegations he raped a woman in her sleep. He's called Babacar Sarr, 28. He's facing allegations of committing numerous sexual assaults, and he's currently a fugitive from justice, having left Norway after his deal was terminated. And Solskjaer was questioned about the ongoing legal. This is what he said. He was questioned about the ongoing legal case on Friday, and told reporters, "I think I can only answer what I've done through the club. This is a case going through the legal system in Norway. You've got to respect that legal route there." When pushed again, Solskjaer added, I just answered the reply. I understand how difficult the situation is. You don't want to be in such a situation. Every part involved in that case, they don't have a good time, but that's my answer. This is what Solskjaer said. Babacar Sarr, 28, he's 28, who Solskjaer had signed for Mould in 2016, just months after police had investigated a complaint against him. He's facing allegations of committing numerous rapes, and now he's a fugitive from justice, having left the country after having his deal terminated to play in Russia and Saudi Arabia, two countries without an extradition treaty with Norway. Solskjaer controversially continued to play Sarr for Mould during an investigation in May 2017 into claims the midfielder had non-consensual sex with a woman while she was sleeping after an alcohol-fueled night of partying. Solskjaer said at the time of Sarr's trial that he did not intend to imply the player's innocence. So yeah, that is some of the story on that, but I don't want to obviously delve into that currently too much. So yeah, so that's my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. This is a really big game for Manchester United on Monday against Chelsea, and it is a must-win game for us because we need to win this game to keep our top four ambitions alive. At the moment, we are sitting 8th in the Premier League. We are 6 points behind Chelsea, and like I did mention, that top four is one of our ambitions this season. We do want to get into that top four because, like I mentioned, when you're in European football and that, you've got more chances of attracting players to the elite level and stuff like that. So take that into account. We win this game against Chelsea, we are only 3 points behind them, so we are still in it. But on the other hand, if Chelsea win this game, we are 9 points behind them. And if Chelsea do win this game, I will fully disregard the top four. To be fair, since Solskjaer got recommended in as Manchester United manager, our record's been very good against Chelsea. I think we're unbeaten against them in our last 5 games in all competitions. And Solskjaer's beaten them 3 times as a manager. We've beaten them twice already this season. We're beating them 2-1 earlier on in the season in the Carabao Cup. We beat them 4-0 at Old Trafford at the beginning of the season. And we beat them 2-0 in the FA Cup last season. And, this will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Frank Lampard's 3rd meeting as managers. And Solskjaer's already, overcome Frank Lampard twice. But, we are winless in our last 3 Premier League games. And we haven't even scored in our last 3 Premier League games. So that just indicates how bad Manchester United have been. Our record at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League is abysmal. We haven't beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, in the Premier League since 2012, which is not 8 years ago now. So take that into account. As for Chelsea, they've just signed their first player under Frank Lampard. Well, they're going to get him in the summer, but obviously, they've obviously got him on the board because the fee and that's been agreed. They have signed Hakim Ziyech from Ajax for around £38 million. So he will join Chelsea in the summer. Also, Chelsea have got quite a few other players on their agenda because obviously, Frank Lampard does want to make further more investment. Chelsea, of course, are still in for Jadon Sancho. They're in for Moussa Dembele. They've showed an interest in Jude Bellingham. So they've still got quite a few players on their agenda. My own perception on Frank Lampard is that I don't think he's the right manager for Chelsea, because like I mentioned, he's too inexperienced as a manager as Lampard, and I've got the same perception on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's too inexperienced as a manager. But I thought, Lampard was a very good long-serving player for Chelsea for 13 years. Their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals. And the same perception on Solskjaer. He was also a great player for us for 11 years. But, I just think as managers, they are totally a comparison. Of course, this is only Frank Lampard's first season as Chelsea, manager. He only began his managerial career last season with Derby, and obviously he did progress Derby to the playoff final, but Frank Lampard is not the right manager for Chelsea. And, like I mentioned on my preview earlier on today, Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. We've sacked 3 managers, in the last, 6 or 7 years. We've sacked 3 managers, but Chelsea, in that, have sacked more managers than us over the years, definitely. Obviously Chelsea sacked Maurizio Sarri at the end of last season. He only enjoyed 1 season with Chelsea, did Maurizio Sarri. He did win the Europa League with them. That got Chelsea automatic qualification for the Champions League. He also progressed Chelsea to the League Cup final, but obviously they didn't win the League Cup last season. So Maurizio Sarri is now obviously back in Italy with Juventus. Before Sarri, they had Antonio Conte. They got rid of him despite the fact he won the Premier League in his first season. Also, before him, they had Gus Higgins. He got sacked. Jose Mourinho. He had 2 separate spells with Chelsea. He won 3 Premier Leagues with them. He got sacked. The main explanation he got sacked was something to do with the club's doctor, and also to, the sacked Villas Boas, despite the fact that Chelsea won the Champions League under him. Di Matteo, Rafa Benitez, Carlo Ancelotti. So Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. Obviously, Chelsea have had quite a few injuries this season. They've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek out at the moment. Obviously Giroud and Tammy Abraham have just recently come back from injury. Chelsea will be hopeful Christian Pulisic can be available for Monday. He's another player that's been injured. Also, you know, they've got Marco van Dingle out. You know, Marco Alonso was out not too long ago. So Chelsea have had quite a few injuries this season. But I think Chelsea, like I mentioned on my preview, have got a lot of good players in their team. They've also got a lot of good young players. You know, that Reece James isn't a bad player. He also just recently come back from injury. You know, that Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, I rate him a lot. He's only, 19 or is he 20? You know, I do like that Tammy Abraham a lot. But, you know, they've got other good players in their team. You know, N'Golo Kante, very, very good midfielder. When he's on form, he's like two players in one, is Kante. You know, Kante has emulated himself up over the years. Won the Premier League in his first season with Leicester. You know, won the Premier League in his first season with Chelsea. I think Chelsea paid around 32 million for him. You know, Chelsea have obviously got Jorginho there, you know, who they paid around £57 million for from Napoli. You know, Rudiger's been in good form for them recently, you know, pretty decent centre-half. I think he's had a few injuries, though, as a Chelsea player, as Rudiger. So they have, you know, got, you know, quite a few decent players. I do believe Chelsea will consider getting rid of players in the summer as well. You know, they lost one of the best players last summer in Eden Hazard. You know, and that was a mistake by Chelsea letting him go, you know. From the fact, you know, they'll be happy from a financial point of view because, you know, they did generate a substantial amount for him. They got around 140 or was it 150 million. But Hazard did endure 7 years with Chelsea. You know, before Chelsea did have a transfer ban for tapping around minors. But obviously, you know, that transfer ban had been, you know, sorted out and everything. So they no longer now have a transfer ban due Chelsea. But Chelsea, you know, can still get some silverware on the board this season. You know, like I said, you know, they're still in the FA Cup of Chelsea. You know, they are into the 5th round. They've got a very difficult tie against Liverpool, though. You know, they can, you know, are they in the Champions League, Chelsea? You know, they could, you know, possibly win that. You know, Chelsea have only won the Champions League once. But, yeah, so they can, you know, get some silverware on the board this season. But, you know, they'll be focusing now, Chelsea, on getting the top 4 this season. You know, they'll be hopeful that they can try and get 3rd as well, you know, because there's a possibility chance that Chelsea can get 3rd. I think Chelsea like sitting, 8 points behind Leicester now. So, yeah, so revert back to what I said. It's a must-win game for Manchester United, this against Chelsea. Of course, you saw my starting 11 prediction. I've already given you that. I do presume Solskjaer will go with a 4-2-3-1 formation, you know, because he has been going with that formation on a regular basis this season. You know, from my own perception, the 4-2-3-1 formation doesn't really suit our standards. But, you know, we're going to go with that formation. You know, a couple of times we've gone with 3 at the back, and from my own perception, you know, we'll look much better with 3 at the back, but he'll go with a 4-2-3-1 formation with Solskjaer. I do also believe Bruno Fernandes will be making his 2nd appearance for Manchester United against Chelsea, because I thought my overarching view on him, that on his debut, I thought it was very, very good against Wolves with Bruno Fernandes. You know, before the winter break, he, you know, had the most touches. He created more chances, I think, than any other player. And I think he'll do really, really well at Man United, you know, will Bruno Fernandes. My only element of concern is the usage of the player. Is Bruno Fernandes, you know, gonna, you know, get kept in his predominant position? You know, we need to keep him at number 10, because as you realised in the game against Wolves, he rotated Bruno Fernandes as a holding midfielder. But he's a very, very good signing for us, and, you know, I think he'll do really, really well. So I can assure he will be starting with Bruno Fernandes. And, of course, you know, Eric Bailly and Fosu Mensah are now back. Bailly, he hasn't played, you know, since he's come back, and that, you know, Eric Bailly, you know, Diego Dalot's also just recently come back from injury not too long ago. You know, so Man United have had a lot of injuries this season, but that's not excusable for how inconsistent we have been, because, you know, we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. You know, since Solskjaer got the job on a permanent basis, his record's been disastrous. He's lost more games in the Premier League than he's won. And, you know, so take that into account. And I think Solskjaer is aware of the pressure, you know, he has been under this season at Manchester United. Definitely he's aware of this. You know, he is currently aware of this and that. But it'd be interesting to see, like I mentioned, how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches this game. With Pogba, you know, he's going to be missing the game on Monday against Chelsea. He's going to be missing the both legs against Bruges. He's going to be missing the Watford and the Everton game at the beginning of next month. So that's very, very disappointing in that. But, Man United, as you all know, are making plans for the summer transfer window. Obviously, because more signings are needed in the summer, we need to make further more investment in the squad. So since Solsjaker got recommended in 3 transfer windows, he has, brought 5 additions to the squad. Last summer, brought Daniel James in for £15 million, brought Amwan Bissaka in for £50 million, and brought Harry Maguire in for £80 million. And then in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odi Nagalo in. So they're the 5 players he has brought in as Solskjaer. On the other hand, Solskjaer has obviously let a lot of players go. Since his arrival, I think around 9 senior players have left Manchester United. But as you all know, Ed Woodward, he recently came out and, he's come out and defended the club's recruitment policy. And don't forget, he wrote a fans forum, did Ed Woodward. So he's going to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with more transfers this summer. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager anywhere this summer. I do believe my next manager will be Mauricio Pochettino. I was reading recent reports as well, and it does say that Ed Woodward's been told that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer cannot be trusted with transfer funds at Man United. And he says reportedly he's going to get around £274 million to spend at this summer. Solskjaer. Solskjaer spent over £200 million already, at the football club, and he has now been here for 14 months. He's been permanent boss for 11 months as Solskjaer, and he's got like 2.5 years left on his deal. But yeah, we need to make more investment in the current summer transfer window. And I do presume Man United are going to spend a substantial amount in the summer on recruiting new players. I can't actually estimate how much Man United have got. I presume we've got a hell of a lot of money because, we're one of the richest clubs in the world. Not only that, we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. And, we've got a fantastic history, fantastic fan base. So we are going to be. But, in the summer, we've got to address the deficiencies in the squad because there's still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. Man United need a right winner. Man United need probably 2 strikers. Well, Solskjaer wants to bring 2 forwards in, he said. That's one of his plans for the summer. We also need another midfielder. Also, we possibly need a left-back as well. I presume we need a centre-half. We need to cover up to Victor Lindelof. So I think in the summer we need around 4 or 5 signings in the summer if we are to be back, to where we want to be. But I think as well, despite who we've been in, it doesn't change my perceptions on Solskjaer. He's not the long-term solution for Manchester United, and I can't see us, getting our 21st Premier League title under Solskjaer. So, because I just don't feel as though he's the right manager for Manchester United. So, the players that Man United have been in for, have been keeping you up to date with, with the news about Jadon Sancho. If recent reports are to be believed, it's looking very imminent that we're going to get Jadon Sancho on the board in the summer. Obviously, it was coming from reliable sources, saying that, Jadon Sancho has agreed to join Manchester United in the summer. Sky Sports said, Borussia Dortmund have confirmed he's expected to leave at the end of the season, and Manchester United will have to pay at least 100 million, but more than likely will pay around 120 million pounds for Jadon Sancho, and we will reportedly offer him a contract worth around £200,000 a week. So in that aspect, that means he will be one of the highest paid players at Manchester United if he, was to come in. There's quite a few other clubs in for Jadon Sancho. Liverpool have been in for him. Chelsea is still in there for him, despite the fact they've signed Hakim Ziyech. And also to Real Madrid have expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. So he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, but I think the player has revealed he's keen on coming to Man United and he wants to reunite in the Premier League. I think Jadon Sancho would be the right calibre player for Man United because he would dramatically improve us. I would be excited about the prospect of him playing alongside the likes of James, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes and that. And, Jack Grealish, if he's also to come in the summer, he would do really, really well. Sancho has enjoyed 2 good years at Dortmund, but I think this season, he's enjoyed a very difficult time because he has been dropped in a lot of games. He's still got around 2 years left on his contract with Borussia Dortmund. He's under contract with them until 2022. Borussia Dortmund are looking for an adequate replacement for him now. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund are going to, make a huge profit on the player because they only paid around 7 or 8 million for him from Manchester City, because he had a couple of years with Man City, but the main explanation why he left City because he didn't get any first team opportunities at Man City. City couldn't show him any first team opportunities. And, before City, he was currently at Watford. But he's only 19. I think he's 20 very, very soon. He's Jadon Sancho. And he will fit our, transfer strategy perfectly because Solskjaer did confirm he wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players into Manchester United. So I'd be happy if we could get him in the summer. Obviously, Jack Grealish is another player that wants to come to Manchester United. I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jack Grealish, and reportedly, Jack Grealish has said he wants to come to Man United. He's notified his friends about this. It has been revealed how much Jack Grealish will cost us. We'll probably have to pay around £45 million to get Jack Grealish because that's what's in his release clause, £45 million. And I think he's still got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023. The likes of Madrid, Barca and Man City have been in for him. But I think if he leaves Villa this summer, he's keen on coming to Manchester United. You can say Jack Grealish is the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Jack Grealish up until this point has spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. I think he had a loan spell with Notts County. Did the current player, but he can play as an attacking mid. I think he's predominantly attacking mid, but you can also put him on the wing, Jack Grealish, and he is only the age of 24. But reports came out the other day saying that he had agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said, he was searching for a house in Manchester. So it'd be good to get Jack Grealish in because he'd dramatically improve our midfield. Of course, it says the other day we was planning a double transfers route for Grealish and Maddison. Grealish and Maddison, would cost us probably around £160 million, for the pair of them. So just say we get Sancho, Grealish and Maddison in the summer, that would be £280 million on them three players because Sancho 120 and Maddison and Grealish at 160, so that adds up to £280 million and that. But, them type of players, would dramatically improve Manchester United, without a shadow of a doubt. And my own perceptions on, Anthony Martial, I think he either needs to be reverted back to the left-hand side or he needs to be dropped completely because Martial now, he's definitely becoming a liability, reflecting on his poor run of performances at Manchester United. He's been poor, at least in his last 6 or 7 league games as Anthony Martial, but it's only been this season that Anthony Martial's been operating in that number 9 role. It's only been this season, but that's not his predominant position, is it? So we need to try and put him back on the left and see how he, performs. If he doesn't perform to the standards as we expect him to, then I would consider getting rid of Anthony Martial this summer, definitely. Of course, Rashford's out for he's going to be out for at least the next couple of months with a back injury. Rashford's a big miss because, Rashford's been one of our best players this season. But yeah, I said, didn't I, there's players I would get rid of at Man United this summer. I'd probably get rid of around 4 or 5, but on the other hand, these still players I would be determined to keep at the football club and that. We have got a lot of young players that are developing and trying to improve. Greenwood's doing well. Greenwood's praised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, role in his Manchester United development, but Solskjaer just needs to play more regularly in the Premier League from the start because for me, he hasn't had enough starts in the Premier League as Mason Greenwood. 10 goals in 20 odd first team appearances. Williams, I think he's been a revelation. This is also his first season in the senior squad. He's a much better solution than Luke Shaw. Tuanzebe is coming back soon. James Garner, I think he's played a couple of games this season for us. Diego Dalot, don't really have a perception on him yet. So there's a lot of young players in the current squad. And, I do credit Solskjaer for that because, to be fair, he has got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. He really, really hasn't that. But like I've said to you guys, we need to see a variety of changes at the club. We need a change of management. A lot of United fans are doubting, the chairman and the club's ownership. We also need to recommend a new board in because our board have been a liability for several years. So take that into account. Also, the good news is Sanchez won't be coming back in this summer because now we're looking to sell Alexis Sanchez, even though Solskjaer did say last month that, Sanchez, was expected to come back in this summer and, prove everybody wrong. But I'm glad now he's not coming back. And obviously, Dean Henderson could be our number 1 if he is to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. so take that into an account. And yeah, so that's mainly everything here to update you with today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. That's your press conference reaction. That's everything else to update you with. So take care, God bless. See you all again very, very soon. And before I go, I just want to give you some news regarding Man City. They have the UEFA have banned them from the Champions League in the next 2 seasons because of the financial fair play breaches. So they're banned for the next 2 seasons. Not this season they can play in the Champions League, but the next 2 seasons they can't. And they have been fined around £25 million for this, and I think Man City have given their own statement out. So yeah. So anyway, now I'm going. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.